But meanwhile, he's a Nazi, he's a fascist, you're all garbage. Every 18-year-old who's on the Rogan side...
Francesca Fiorentini and Wajahat Ali were guests on Piers Morgan show Piers Morgan Uncensored to go up against Fox News contributor Katie Pavlich and political commentator Ashley St. Clair, and of course, Piers Morgan himself. We're going to take a look at clips from Piers Morgan Uncensored. I will share my thoughts as well. Let's get into this together.
I thought Trump's choice of J.D. Vance has turned out to be a rather good choice. So listen, hang on a sec. I listened to J.D. Vance's Joe Rogan podcast. Really interesting, wide-ranging interview, including some very interesting exchanges between Rogan and him about all manner of issues. And I thought, yeah, he's a smart guy. I get it. And he's obviously probably a likely candidate to run for president himself. So I don't think that was a mistake at all. One of the things I'm surprised about, if I was Trump in the last 48 hours, I'd have been down on the southern border. I'd have been down there reminding people that Kamala Harris was the border czar. People to try to pretend she isn't now, but she was. This is how they called her on liberal media the entire time. I remember it. And there's been a catastrophic failure on her watch. Why do you think he's not gone for that optic of him on the southern border?
Because he's been doing that for 8 years. I mean, that's something that people know about him. They know that Kamala Harris was the border czar.
But in the last few days of a race?
He talks about in his rallies, but he's trying to, he has his base locked up. He has the people who are voting for him on immigration locked up. He's trying to go to these places to get these remaining last votes that he needs in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan.
Do you think Pennsylvania's the key?
He does not have to necessarily win Pennsylvania, but she does. So he has to take that away from her and take it off the board if he's going to get ahead of her.
Right, and Francesca, here's the thing. Look, I on abortion, I agree with you. Okay, so it doesn't matter. I can't even vote. But the trouble, it seems to me, is, and Katie raised this point earlier, there has never been an incumbent candidate. All right, it's a little bit skewed by the fact she wasn't the actual incumbent president. She's incumbent vice president. Never been an incumbent president where the polling against a crucial issue like the economy is so skewed in favour of her opponent who has ever won. Right? Now, the only reason she might win, and the only reason she's so close, is that the opposing candidate is Trump, who is so divisive. But if Trump was to win, I would say it was because actually the economy, cost of living, and immigration, where she is directly pegged to the failure on the border.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's incredible that so many people believe that buying a $100,000 gold watch will get them closer to being a billionaire like Trump, although, you know, it's waning with all the cases.
Kamala was wearing a $60,000 Tiffany necklace at the border.
The most effective thing...
Here's what I'm saying. Actually, I like Donald Trump's policies. Hang on, let me say... No.
Let me include one more line. Trump has started doing at the start of every rally in the last 2 days.
Threatening Liz Cheney.
No, the same sentence where he just says...
Wanting to protect women without their will.
No. Same sentence. He says, do you feel better off than you did 4 years ago? And the answer is, for most average Americans, they do not feel better off. If he wins, I suspect that's why he wins.
I understand that. I think it's incredible that he would do that when... if he wins on the economy, when we know that he is personally bankrolled by billionaires, the likes of Peter Thiel, David Sachs, and other. Hang on.
She's not.
Can you?
Let me
finish. Let me actually finish what I'm trying to say is. And Kamala Harris's policies, $25,000 down payment for a first-time homeowner. These are policies that put money in people's pockets, right?
Why hasn't she done it before?
The ability to add home care to Medicare.
Why didn't she do it in the last 4 years?
She was not president, and she was working alongside Joe.
Yeah, the right-wingers like Piers Morgan always try to blame all of any types of perceived failings or, the inflation and cost of living and all of this under Joe Biden. They want to blame this on Kamala Harris when she wasn't the president. And it's funny. I mean, I've done a bunch of videos on Piers Morgan and his show, but he always claims that he's not a right-winger and he's not a Trump supporter and all of this, when all he does is simp for Donald Trump and bash Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. He does this on every episode of this.
Joe Biden, for better or worse, but the ability for Medicare to cover home care for our aging parents, that's massive. If she were to deliver that for the American people, we would save hundreds of thousands of dollars every single person each year. Okay. So in terms of a wealth transfer, Kamala Harris's policies would put more money in working class people's pockets, and Donald Trump's would be a siphon of money.
You don't think any billionaires are in
credit. You guys, Trump deserves some credit because I think his policies are bold. I think obviously they're appealing to the Joe Rogan extended extended universe and all the D-bags who are growing up very quickly and can vote at 18. However,
You mean men?
whoa.
You mean men? Your issue is
all of the men. However, I will
All
say
young men are douchebags.
Yes.
Is that what you just
I'm
said?
saying the
Wow.
ones that are coming up and being
Men
very
need to vote.
radicalized by
Men
your
need to vote.
friends
Men are
Andrew
gonna be
Tate,
Like,
the
we need
sex
them to vote for us,
traffickers.
but then they do
Here's
that.
the problem with the
that you like
here's
to
the
have
problem with the
on your network.
Have you got be
Sandra.
nice in your profile on X? Is be nice in there the
Be
hashtag?
nice?
The hashtag. No, I'm not surprised. the thing about the left is, Jaya, I'll bring you in here.
Sure.
Is that you all brand yourselves as the nice party?
Yeah.
You're the nice people. It's Trump's horrible, ugly rhetoric. But meanwhile, he's a Nazi, he's a fascist, you're all garbage. Every 18-year-old who's on the Rogan side
I'm just saying, it's
is
a big
I don't think she was saying, Francesca Fiorentini was saying every 18-year-old is a D-bag, but she's saying the Joe Rogan listener 18-year-olds are D-bags. And this is an interesting thing about they're all the two conservatives here are getting worked up that she's attacking, men or young men or whatever. But you have a campaign that Donald Trump has won, and by the time this episode has come out, the election will be over. I predict that Kamala Harris is going to win pretty handily. So, I could be completely wrong by the time this video goes up. But they have run a campaign appealing partly to just incels, which is what a lot of the Joe Rogan listeners are, and an incredibly divisive camp. Piers Morgan acts like he's shocked that, the Democrats are mean when, they label Donald Trump as a Nazi and all of this, but they're the nice party and everything. The Trump campaign, they've run a campaign basically just trying to appeal to white males. That's it. And, they've obviously gone after abortion, but in this, there could be white males in this cohort, but they've gone after people who don't have children, choose not to have children. They've gone after people who have stepchildren. Kamala Harris was criticized for that she wasn't a real parent because she has stepchildren, not to mention gays and trans people and, and all the rest. And Piers Morgan and these other right-wingers act like they're offended that Francesca Fiorentini would call 18-year-old Joe Rogan listeners D-bags. Come on.
Is a douchebag. This is a kind of generalized
Piers
hateful,
Morgan, Mr.
which
Piers
I find
Morgan,
so utterly hypocritical.
Have you seen the comment section? These people are going to be going at me. Have you seen your own comment section? Do you know the kind of hatred that I get from appearing on this show?
When you call all 18-year-olds douchebags, I'm not surprised.
Have you guys seen
But I'm trying to tell
Has it
you.
crossed your mind you say hateful things that might annoy people?
Can I?
But
like all 18-year-olds
She
douchebags?
says that and expects no pushback for something like
Yeah.
that. She says that about
You're
people's
used to saying on
sons,
your
and then she
podcast,
I'm trying
says
you
to tell
say
you
it,
that
and
there
everybody
aren't
agrees
enough
with
young
you.
men who are being sort of inculcated into the Andrew Tate, Joe Rogan world fast
Tate is not
enough.
No
Fast
comparison between
enough to
Andrew
vote.
Tate and Joe Rogan. No comparison at all.
No.
They do not espouse the same philosophies about almost anything.
Well, there's a certain
there isn't. No, there isn't.
hyper-masculinity
No, there isn't.
there.
Smear.
There's
There
an
really isn't.
excitedness there
If you
about
actually
being
knew what you're talking about with those two,
dude.
there is no.
So Piers Morgan doesn't understand that there's crossover with Joe Rogan's audience and Andrew Tate's audience. No, they're not exactly the same, but there's crossover there.
No comparison between
Like,
Joe
do you
Rogan
even lift,
and Andrew
bro?
Tate. Huh?
There's
Also, exercise is like alt-right and scary
use the
now.
word bro,
Do you
you
even
are
lift,
what, a
bro?
douchebag,
Oh
is
my
that?
I
God,
use the word
that's
bro all the
so
time. What are you
horrible.
talking
Take
about?
care of
No, what I'm
yourself.
Wajaha, let me bring in the only man here.
Yes,
Wajaha,
as
is
a
it helpful?
representative.
Is it helpful to call every 18-year-old in America male a douchebag?
That is not what I am
You
saying.
just said
I'm
so.
saying
You
that
literally
is,
said it. Roll the tape.
No, that's exactly. I'm saying that that
Piers Morgan, as he so often does on this show, is being completely disingenuous with Francesca Fiorentini, which is what he loves to do with the progressives or left-wingers or whatever term that you want to use, and he never does that with the right-wingers.
Roll the
who
tape, we
Donald
should be
Trump
pleased
is
to hear.
appealing to. He is not trying to appeal to
right.
women. And here's what I will say. I like
There's
his
a lot of
strategy.
women.
I like his
let me respond.
strategy
Hang on,
of
men-
going
Can I
from
let
being
Wajaha,
RFK
the only
Jr.
oppressed man on the panel,
Can
can
we
you let him
talk-
So
speak?
oppressed.
Just really quickly, I do
Let
think
Wajaha,
it is-
you
you've
be
said
quiet for a
enough
moment.
very
Wajaha,
quickly.
you speak.
So I want to combine 2 points that you mentioned, right? And in all seriousness, I've never seen a campaign step on more rakes than Donald Trump has in the past 2 weeks. And I mean that sincerely, because you think about his final argument, right? yours a gift there, right? You have a gift there where you can, I agree with you. I mean, I don't agree with it, but cynically, go to the border. Talk about the economy, right? Pretend you're a unifier. What does he do? Calls liberals sick, evil people, absolutely horrible, right? A person, he has a chance.
You not called his supporters garbage?
Wait.
Fascists?
Nazis?
No.
Douchebags? When MAGA goes low, we take out their knees. That's what he posted this morning.
I will say this.
He said, we'll take out their knees.
You said liberals are all nice. I will say this, and thank you for bringing my post. I'm not Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama said infamously, God bless her, when they go low, we go high. I say, and I've always said, when they go low, you take out their knees, which is a legal UFC move.
Wow.
And I believe legal.
Wow.
No. You take out their knees. It's a legal. Wait. Legal UFC move. You take out their knees. When they go low, take out their knees. And by the way, calling the American people evil, stupid, garbage, right? These are all absolute scum. These are all Donald Trump's words he has used in the past 2 weeks. Final thing I'll say. Last 2 weeks, your pitch to America, unify the people, bring the independence. You know what he says? I'm going to unleash the military and National Guard to my critics who are the enemy from within. Who used the word enemy from within? Francesca.
Oh, we're doing this again.
Hitler.
We're back to Adolf Hitler. Katie, let me ask you about Mark Cuban.
All facts, by the way.
Mark Cuban said you never see Trump around strong, intelligent women.
Yeah.
You've been around Trump. Last time I checked, you're a strong, intelligent woman.
Well, thank you very much.
I thought it was such a patronizing thing to say.
It's not true. And if you have to lob that accusation, you're clearly desperate and looking for things to make an argument on when you don't have the facts or the data to back up your argument. I covered the Trump White House. Whenever you walked into the West Wing, it was teeming with women at the highest levels, senior advisors, also working moms. So the left says they care a lot about working women, except for when it comes to conservative women. This is a pattern that they have with attacking conservative women, and they don't like it when they are batting for the Trump team, for conservatives, for Republicans, when they oppose their ideas based on the facts and policy. They just want to say that they're stupid and unintelligent.
You know what else is teeming with women? Jeffrey Epstein's island that Donald Trump went to multiple times on Lolita Express, and in fact had a very close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Win a presidential election as a campaign manager was Kellyanne Conway, and now you have Susie Wiles, co-chair of his second campaign this time around. There are plenty of strong, intelligent women around him, and unlike the left, they don't expect to get credit for being women. They're just doing their job and doing what the campaign
Francesca,
expects.
here's the thing. You guys talk about the violent rhetoric that comes out of Trump's mouth, and some of it is very ill-advised, or sometimes it's plain ugly. I didn't like what he said about shooting over the media to get at him.
That was yesterday.
Shooting through the media.
Don't say that, Donald. Don't say it. I think it's unhelpful, and don't make people hate the media. They're doing their jobs. You may not like it, but it's part of the job. It's my view as a media person, right? But then, just when you really want him to pop up again, there's old Biden, old Sleepy Joe, saying he wants to. They said the kind of guys like Trump and MAGA are the kind of guys you want to smack in the ass. He's the president of the United States, advocating physical violence against tens of millions of Americans. Is that advisable either?
I don't know. Tucker Carlson did say that sometimes daddy needs to come home and give you a good spanking, so maybe he's just speaking to what Tucker
and
Tucker is a president.
Address what he's
the Democrat president of the United States is advocating physical violence against tens of millions of Americans.
I will not
simply ask, is that helpful?
No, it's not.
So
but here's what I will say.
Good.
I
have a point of agreement.
I like Trump's bold ideas. Abolishing the Department of Education so, rural areas can't get access to, schools and teachers shortages. I think that's great.
Do you think our education system is doing a good job, by the way?
RFK Jr. and the head of the CDC, look, I've always said, let's make polio great again. I feel like all these woke DEI vaccines have taken away things like measles.
Do you agree with mass deportation?
It's time to bring it back.
Do you agree with mass deportation of illegal immigrants?
No, I do not.
Really? Why did you let Obama deport 3 million then?
I protested all of those years.
Really?
Mr. Morgan. Yes, I did.
So he's despicable, Obama, right?
For doing those actions, absolutely.
Despicable.
Yes.
Good. Someone's will agree that Democrat presidents are despicable.
They can absolutely do despicable things.
Despicable? What Obama did?
Deporter in chief, yeah. I thought it was a terrible
3 million
policy.
He deported.
I thought it was terrible.
By far pro rata more than anything Trump ever did before.
Does he get enough credit from the right for doing it who likes those policies?
You ask them. I'm just simply saying you think he's despicable. I agree.
I think that aspect of his presidency is despicable. And I also say this. I do not treat politicians like my kings and queens and emperors. I don't bend knees.
So Piers Morgan tries to do his gotcha thing on the border here. And unlike right-wingers, progressives like Francesca Fiorentini and Wajahat Ali are going to call out Democratic presidents when they do something that they disagree with. Francesca Fiorentini was very outspoken about drone bombings under Barack Obama, and also very outspoken about mass deportations. So Francesca Fiorentini and Wajahat Ali are consistent on that. As Wajahat, I'm sorry, the name is hard to say. I'm doing my best with it. But as he said, he doesn't view politicians as kings, or, this is my word, but gods, like the right does with Donald Trump. So Piers Morgan always tries to do the gotcha questions with the progressives. This is another example on his show of him doing this with Francesca Fiorentini as well as Wajahat Ali. But what do you think about all of this? I love when Francesca Fiorentini is on this show because I think she does a great job. You basically have the right-wingers just whining here, and Piers Morgan doing his whataboutism, where he's going to attack Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and he's going to defend Donald Trump. Let me know in the comments what you think about this debate and interaction. One thing, what do you think about this format that Piers Morgan is doing? This is something he's done that's new, where they're all sitting on these chairs, and I think it's kind of weird. That's a nitpicky thing on my part, but it seems strange to me. But let me know in your comments what you think about Francesca Fiorentini, Wajahat Ali, how you think they did against these two right-wingers as well as Piers Morgan. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. The channel's growing really quickly, almost 40,000 subscribers. By the time this goes up, I'll probably be over 40,000. But I want to keep bringing out content like this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so I can continue to bring out more content. This is Chris on Culture. I will see you in the next video.